Dear students, நாம் இன்னைக்கு யூனிட் 15 nervous systemல human nervous system பத்தி பார்க்க போறோம். With the ability to think and take actions, human beings differs from other organisms. Human nervous system can be differentiated into central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. First, coming to the central nervous system, shortly CNS, it is composed of brain and spinal cord. These two organs are vital for the human beings. Brain is protected under skull and spinal cord is protected inside the vertebral column. Coming to the brain, it is covered by meninges or membranes. These meninges protects the brain from mechanical injuries. The outermost thick fibrous meninges or membrane is dura mater. It is very tough in nature. The middle thin web-like membrane is called as arachnoid matter. The innermost soft membrane is called as pia mater. It is richly supplied with blood. Coming to the structure of the brain, brain can be differentiated into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is composed of cerebrum, which covers 2/3 of the brain and is the largest part of the brain. It is called as perumolai in Tamil. Then diencephalon. Diencephalon consists of hypothalamus and thalamus. First, coming to the cerebrum, it is divided into right and left hemispheres, which is divided by a deep cleft called median cleft. These two hemispheres are connected by a thick band of nerve fibers called as corpus callosum. These two hemispheres forms the cerebral cortex, and this is the dorsal side, that is the outer side of the cerebrum, and the cerebral medulla is made of inner side and is made of white matter, whereas the cerebral cortex is made of gray matter. The cerebral hemisphere is divided into 4 lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe, each lobe performing specific functions. Coming to the functions of the cerebrum, it is important for thinking, intelligence, consciousness, memory, imagination, reasoning and willpower. The cerebral cortex consists of elevations and depressions. The elevations are called as gyri and the depressions are called as sulci. The thalamus is the relay center of the brain. It is present in the cerebral medulla. It is responsible for the sensory and motor signaling. Hypothalamus is located at the base of the thalamus. Hypo means base. This is the thermoregulatory center. It controls the hormone secretion from the anterior pituitary gland, and it controls the involuntary functions, that is functions which cannot be controlled by us, like hunger, thirst, sleep, sweating, sexual desire, anger, fear, water balance, blood pressure, etc. And it also acts as an important link between the endocrine and nervous system. This is regarding the forebrain. Then coming to the midbrain, it is located between the thalamus and the hindbrain. Midbrain consists of 4 rounded bodies called corpora quadrigemina. Quadri means 4. On its dorsal side. Dorsal side and ventral side, you will be coming with these terms. Dorsal side means upper side or mudugu pagadi, and ventral side means lower side or vaitru pagadi. Corpora quadrigemina is present on the dorsal side of the midbrain. Then coming to the hindbrain, it is composed of cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. Cerebellum is made of 2 large hemispheres. It controls the voluntary movements and responsible for the body balance. Then pons. Pons means bridge in Greek language. It is the bridge of nerve fibers. It connects the cerebellum lobes. Then medulla oblongata, it acts as the cardiac center, respiratory center and responsible for vital functions. It connects the brain with the spinal cord. Electroencephalogram is an instrument. It is an instrument which records the electrical impulses of the brain waves and diagnoses any defects in brain waves to detect diseases like epilepsy, seizures, etc. Then spinal cord. Spinal cord is a cylindrical structure which is also covered by meninges. The posterior end of the spinal cord is formed into a tail-like structure called phylum terminale. Cerebrospinal fluid is a special fluid present in the central canal of the vertebral column. It is a limb-like watery fluid. It protects the brain within the skull. It acts as a shock absorber which protects the brain from sudden jerks. It supplies nutrients to the brain and removes waste. It maintains the pressure inside the cranium. The gray matter of the spinal cord is H-shaped. The posterior horn of the gray matter is called as dorsal root, which contains nerve fibers, and the anterior horn contains ventral roots. These two roots gives rise to spinal nerves. Then coming to the reflex actions or spinal reflexes. These can be divided into two types. First one is the simple or basic reflexes. These are inbuilt and unlearned actions like yawning, sneezing and winking of eyes. Then the second type is acquired or conditioned reflexes. This comes through practice and learning. For example, playing keyboard on seeing a music note is a acquired or conditioned reflex. Then reflex arc. This is the pathway of the nerve impulse to accomplish reflex actions. For example, touching a hot pan. The heat receptors in hand triggers the sensory neurons, and these sensory neurons gives impulses to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord activates the motor neuron, and these motor neurons signals the muscles in arm to withdraw the hand from the pan. This is regarding the central nervous system. Then the second part, peripheral nervous system, shortly PNS. This consists of cranial nerves, that is the brain. Nerves from brain. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves which are either sensory or motor nerves. Then spinal nerves, that are the nerves of the spinal cord. These are 31 pairs which have dorsal root and ventral root. Each nerve has dorsal and ventral root. Dorsal root acts as sensory nerves, and ventral root acts as motor nerves. Dorsal root sends the impulses towards the spinal cord, and the ventral roots takes the impulses away from the spinal cord. Finally, coming to the autonomic nervous system or ANS. This is also called as visceral nervous system. It controls the internal organs and the involuntary functions with the help of two types of systems, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic system. This is all about the human nervous system. Thank you.